everybody. Welcome to Free Spirit Talks. We are outside enjoying some nice water.
You're drinking vodka. Who are you kidding? It's a great big
Water.
glass full of hot
Totally water. Sorry, it's too hot for vodka outside right now.
It's chilled.
No,
it's water. It is water. We are saving all alcoholic drinks for Belize.
For Belize, yes.
Belize.
Because yesterday, I lost my mind. No, yesterday I called up Kendall here and said, "You want to go to Belize?" And she's like, "Sure."
Why not?
Why not? And within an hour,
We're going to Belize.
we were going to Belize. So
And to this all-inclusive, beautiful destination.
it was a beautiful destination, all inclusive. We read all the details. It was amazing.
I kind of feel like, it was the lover that's almost too good to be true.
Yeah. Because I wake up this morning and I get an email from the resort and they were like, "So,
It's not all-inclusive.
it's not all inclusive. Like, you still have to go and buy you have to buy the all-inclusive package on top," which wasn't mentioned.
No.
Which is fine. I'm like, okay, yeah, like, that's cool. Like, still go and do it. Like, just like, okay.
It's not about that. It was about the misrepresentation that this particular place decided to put out there. And
On multiple sites.
yeah, on multiple sites. Advertising, all-inclusive. Advertising, though, that they had all of this to give, and it was so luxury, and it was this, and it was that.
Luxurious,
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
here is everything. Like, the resume on this place was amazing.
Private island.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about this one guy that I went out on one date with,
Uh-huh.
and oh my goodness.
Men tell you all the time they're all-inclusive.
Yes, they do. They do. So this one guy that, remember year before last, 2 years ago. My timeline's off a little bit. It was 2 years ago because I met Steve 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, almost to the date, actually, probably because I did this 2 years ago.
Yeah, you did.
And you know what? That's what I'm going to finish up this year. I got to finish that book project. So I went out on 30 dates with 30 guys in 30 days. And date number one.
It's hilarious to
Date
watch.
number one, he was all-inclusive. He was totally all-inclusive. This man, he was, good looking guy.
Gotta love a
Great
good-looking
voice.
guy.
Oh man, yeah. I took one like, oh, like, he's a good-looking guy. Like, he's a good, like, this one.
You looked at the package.
I may have to start my book tomorrow. That was my thought. I may have to start my book tomorrow. And because he was like, his outside package was very well put together. Very well put
He
together.
radiated all-inclusive.
He was, he had a killer job. He very, very elite job, made a ton of money. So that's not a bad thing to have a guy in your life that makes a ton of money. Although I take care of myself,
Yeah.
but
it's not required,
nice
but it's a nice
to have. Like, that is, like, most of us women, I think we want men that aren't living with their moms,
Yes.
that have a job, that can pay their own bills, have a car,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Especially after
They're
at
not
a
couch
certain
surfing.
age.
They're not
yeah.
couch surfing, especially in your 30s, 40s, 50s. You definitely don't want a couch surfer. That's not, like, ideal quality for a mate. Well, this guy was not couch surfing. He had this beautiful 8,000 square foot house in, a very uppity place here in the Dallas area. He drove a wonderful car, which was parked right next to mine, coincidentally. Very, very nice car. He was put together, and he decided on our date that he was going to give me his resume, kind of like his verbal resume to me. So he told me about how much money he made. He told me about the houses that he owned. He told me about the multiple cars that he had. He told me about his fascination with travel and how he loved to go here and how he loved to go there and how he loved to pamper the woman in his life, and being on his arm would be like boom, boom, boom. And he told me how he loved things, like he was all about taking care of the lady in every which way. So he was really painting his all-inclusive.
Tell us about the fine print, because I hear the
what?
fine
This
print
guy
coming.
is going to actually end up having to go from Mr. Direct to Mr. All-Inclusive in my book. I'm going to have to change the title. because he's titled Mr. Direct in my book. Date number 1 is Mr. Direct. And this man taught me so much. It was just like, it was hilarious. But this particular guy, his fine print came in the fact when we were talking travel. And he's telling me about some of the travel, and he's like, oh, have you ever been to Rio? And I said, no, I haven't. I said, actually, I don't want to go to Rio. You know, blonde, blue eyes, and Rio, I read a lot of like dangerous reports for blonde, blue-eyed American women, especially. That's a very dangerous place for American women to go, and just tourists across the board.
Ginger can't have you out.
That Rio is not a safe place. Yeah. You know, everybody was going, oh, be careful in Punta Cana. I'm like, well, it's not Rio. It's not like, please send your be carefuls if we're going to Rio. I'm not going. She books Rio. She's going on her own.
I'm not going to Rio.
So it's like, so he tells me that. I was like, well, it looks beautiful, but you know, it's dangerous. And he's like, oh my gosh. And he starts telling me about how beautiful the culture is, how beautiful the women are. Sure. And you know, and we're sitting at the bar and we're sitting next to each other like this. And you were talking, he's like that. And then he goes, you know, the bad thing about Rio is that, you know, the women, they're gorgeous. You can look, but you can't touch. And I did what you're doing. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, all right, this is an interesting first date conversation, right? So I was like, well,
are you just walking up and touching?
I'm like, what do you mean? And he says, well, don't you know, Rio has the highest level of HIV. I said, no, I don't know. After all these years of being a
I just learned something.
Coach, I did not know the stats of Rio HIV. But according to date number 1, Mr. Direct, all-inclusive here, not all-inclusive, he informed me that Rio, the fine print of him, he informed me that Rio has one of the highest levels of HIV in the world. And I was like, whoa. And then I kid you not, he picks up his drink. He goes, so you know, when we're intimate, we're going to have to use a condom. So when we're intimate, we're going to have to use a condom. This is the statement that this man decided to use right after telling me that he loved Rio, he loved the culture, and oh, did you know that there's the highest level of HIV in Rio? And then he places his hand on my knee and says, so you know, when we are intimate, assumption there, when we're intimate, we're going to have to use a condom. So what does, I mean, fine print, not all inclusive.
You know what? I know there are some beautiful people who have STDs and diseases and all of that, but it sounds like he was really selling himself. He had the whole beautiful package going on until that one little clause slipped in. And I'm sure there was more clauses. And after that, yeah, there was more, but that would just ruin chapter 1. Because the truth is, I mean, there are some beautiful, you can have the all-in. Look at the resort that we're looking at here. It's it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. The amenities are amazing. It's freaking phenomenal. Like, when you and I were looking at it it's amazing. We were both going. I mean, we're going. It just is. This is beautiful. But what's the fine print? What is the fine print that this is actually saying? And that's truly the topic that we're touching on here, is that there is fine print. What's the fine print for anything that we're doing in our lives? Your relationship. If you're an entrepreneur, because I know we're both entrepreneurs, our following tends to be a lot of entrepreneurs. You know, there's fine print in your business. There is, if you're selling yourself in your business, that is also fine. You should make sure that you're letting people know the fine print. But really in all of our lives, like no matter how amazing any situation is, there's always fine print. And I think the key is like, can you get on board with the fine print? First of all, are you truly being authentic and showing you up as your best self? Like really being honest and going, okay, here's this. Now there's fine print within ourselves that we don't even know about. Mm-hmm. But are you truly like stepping up and being like, okay, yeah, no, this is authentically, like you're not gonna buy into me and then find out all this kind of stuff. We're on Free Spirit Talks. gotta watch my language, all this stuff that I was keeping, like, hidden deep and dark, and, like, it's big stuff, and I know it's gonna keep you from really buying into me.
It's the big stuff, like this gentleman, you know, him, I mean, thank goodness he decided to reveal a big ticket item in his fine print to me on that front side. I mean, I was only doing one and you're done anyways, but he didn't know that. So
well, you were, and then you found Steve. Sometimes things happen.
So sometimes you break your own, you break your own guidelines there. But, you know, it's just lucky number whatever date that was. Extra lucky.
Let's keep it clean.
But no, this, you know, Mr. Direct here, Mr. All-Inclusive Direct Man, he did bring a big ticket item to the surface right away.
Yeah.
But he did it in a way that was, so, I mean, I don't know if he has HIV or not, because we did not have that discussion, because I quickly went, and we're done here, you know, like, I was like, I'm going to, for the sake of what I am doing, I'm collecting data research. Yeah. So I went ahead and followed through on my date, let him walk me to the car, said goodnight, and then went, oh wow, some of the things that men do on dates. Like, this is the reason I'm even doing this data collection, right?
Yep.
Because there's some goofy stuff. But it is like, if you have something, like, that is a fine print in a relationship. I was just talking to somebody just a couple days ago, and they've been married for quite some time, and they informed me that, you know, when they first got married, that their partner had actually brought a sexually transmitted disease into the relationship because they were being wild prior to the marriage, and then they end up getting together and they find out that, oh, they have this, and they're going, how did that happen? I don't have this, anything going on over here. And then they're only pointing at their significant other now, and the person's like, oh, well, you see, before we started dating, I was into blah. Well, if you, there's things that you should probably, and I mean, and I'm going to throw Steve underneath the bus, so beep over Steve here, but to the point that because him and I connected so well, I told him within just a couple days, hey, I need to talk to you about something, because I'm actually kind of interested in you. I'd like to explore this. So I came back and I went, so here's the gig. You may not want to talk to me after this, and I fully understand. I remember I pulled him into my office and I said, I need you to come to my office and we're going to have a little chat. And there's some things that I need to talk to you about. And I hit him
You're bringing your fine print.
And I was bringing, like, here's the fine print. I can't, because he had asked me out on another date. I had accepted. So we had gone out on 2 dates, and I was not being in authentic relationship with him at all. So I felt, I'm totally out of integrity here. Why did I take on 2 dates? I said I was only doing 1. I need to, like, all right, if I'm feeling this, I need to be honest. I'm going to give him the opportunity to make a decision for himself based on, you know, the truth of the situation. I'm not going to try to pull any wool over his eyes. And so here he came to the office, and I was like, all right, so number 1, here's the truth. I'm actually doing data research. Number 2, I'm actually in a relationship, an open relationship. Number 3,
I have 7 children.
I have 7 children. Number 4, I'm a sex and relationship coach. Number 5, you know, like, I went through all these different things, and he looked at me and he said, did you really think that was going to scare me? And I went, yeah, actually, I fully expect you to run out of the office right now. 2 years later, he hasn't run out of anything yet. But it is that's bringing that fine print up to the surface. And it's really freaking scary and hard, especially in relationship.
Yes.
To bear ourselves like that. And it's not that you have to
tell all, because that's that's not vulnerability.
And here's the thing, so I have a flip story on that. I was married for 20 some odd years, and my ex-husband, when we got together, I remember, like, the very first time we were actually intimately together, and we're laying in bed when he decides to throw up on me all of his history, his past. And he goes through anything that he felt shameful about. He went through all the relationships, the heartbreaks, the reasons, the blah, blah, blah. I mean, I got the 27 years of his life prior, just boom, here you go. And here's the thing, I appreciated his honesty in that. But at the same time, it took away all the mystery, the intrigue. There was not a whole lot to learn about somebody's past in that.
Mm-hmm.
And there were things that I did not need to know that actually caused programs to set into my mind because he had told me this as though it is. And then so I started to see these things and I went, oh, you're doing it again. Or you're doing it again. So there's that oversharing. There's a fine line there, but on that fine print, it's really the big ticket things. It is.
Yeah, because truly, like, and we're kind of like making this like a metaphor of like a resort, but the fact is, like, when I book a resort, do I need to know like all like how they built it, when they built it, what all the construction plans of the resort? Like, I don't need a packet this big telling me every little moment. No, I need the big ticket items. I need to know, what my room's going to look like, what the beach looks like, what I'm getting while I'm there. Like,
what's available,
what's accessible, all of this. And so there is a learning, like, you don't want to tell, there's an people think it's being vulnerable, but it's actually a lack of vulnerability. When you throw up on somebody with every single thing, it is actually you blocking a level of vulnerability and going, I'm just going to tell you everything so that you can leave or you can know everything, and then I don't ever have to connect in a meaningful way. That's actually not vulnerable. Brene Brown, is all about vulnerability research and all that, and I read some of her books, and she talks about this as like a total overshare. Like, it is trying to avoid that vulnerability hangover of like connecting with somebody. But this goes even past our romantic relationships. Like, it goes into our business. It goes into our friendships. Like you didn't come to me and be like, fine print, I snore when I joking. Sorry, I had to poke. I snore. No.
Especially when my nose is all clogged or I'm really overtired.
Yeah. I'm joking.
No, she's not joking.
I'm not joking that she snores. She really does snore. But like silly things like that, you don't need to share like immediately. But that's a mystery. But also, like, this happens in friendships. This happens with our businesses, because in our businesses, like, you don't know every single thing that's going to happen and how it's going to happen. Like, no, there's a progressing and there's a stepping forward, but you do need to look at kind of whatever venture that is, of like enough to read into it and go, okay, where am I going to see my blocks? What am I getting? What am I investing my time, my energy, my process in? And then the same thing if you're an entrepreneur and you're putting yourself out there as far as like, here are my services. I've met a lot of people that actually, coaches and like some big time people that you buy into them, they're charging thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and then you realize you didn't read the fine print. They're like, oh yeah, I don't actually, I wasn't trained in this, I just came up with it, or I stole this program from somebody else. Like,
there's join I'm going to be coaching with you, and then you find out that you're not coaching with them.
You're coaching with somebody else.
You're coaching with their coaches. I did that once. I paid $6,000 for a coaching program with a very well-renowned coach, and all the sales print was that you're coaching with this person and you're getting their coaching system and all this certification. And then what I found out was that I was getting 30 minutes every week. I mean, of course I had paid for it and I did it, but I got 30 minutes each week for like 10 weeks or something. And
with the low man on the totem
pole, who was learning the system herself and was going through that. So I just paid at that point in my life, $6,000 a premium, and it is a hearty value for coaching, especially for, I think it was 10 or 12 weeks.
And years ago, then that was...
And that was like 6 or 7 years ago that I did that. So my level of understanding of coaching and my expectations even on myself was just not where they are today. But I was like, I wanted to step in. Mm-hmm. So I put myself out there and I was like, yes, I want to work with this person. Yes. And then I found out that I'm working with somebody who doesn't even, you know, like, did she do a good job? She did an excellent job, and I got tons of content out of it, and I, you know, and stuff that I use today. I mean, very, very valuable. Not to take the value away from it, except the value wasn't fully there because what I thought that I was purchasing, much like our all-inclusive deal here.
Yeah.
I found out, oh no, I'm actually not working with the person that I follow, that I listen to their messaging, that I, you know, like I find the value in. I'm getting a third-party version of it over here, and sure, they're trained in this system, but I don't know who this person is. Why do I want to spend time with you every single week? Why do I want to do this? Like, I don't know what your true beliefs are. I don't know what you've been through. What's your value?
Sell me on you, not
right. Like, I don't know, and I know that a lot of my clients, and I know that for you too. Like, they buy. I am always preaching.
They buy us.
You don't buy the service. You buy the person. You know, I have clients. The reason why I get repeat clients coming in, and clients from 5-6 years ago, like I just had somebody just come in yesterday that I coached a few years back, and they came in just to get, you know, a couple hours of, hey, I need some support here, stuff's going on, and the reason they're opting to come back to me is because they know that they know who I am, they know that I've been through different things, and then they're going through something and they're like, oh, well, Kendall's been through this, so I'm going to go to her because she offered me good advice here, and blah 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 blah. So it is that, and it really is like, that's that fine print again. Like, what are you getting? You can paint all of this up. You can put the makeup on. You can dress up. You can drive the car. You can live in the neighborhood. You can
take
have
the fancy
whatever
picture.
You know, letters behind your name, and none of that matters at the end of the day if who you are at your core isn't matching what you're actually selling. If you're hiding a whole bunch of like little stuff in there.
I think it's just the misleading energies that we tend to put out to people. It's like, well, and here's the thing. I truly believe, like, we all mislead people. Every single one of us. We are actually having a similar conversation earlier. Like, we all mislead people. But if that's coming from a place of, like, you don't actually realize you're misleading somebody.
Right.
Then that happens. Like, we all, like, we're still learning ourselves.
You can only be truthful with somebody else to the level that you are truthful with yourself. So if you don't really truly know yourself, and you're ever changing, and you're constantly learning and growing and, you know, and uncovering things and healing things, which changes you at your core. So what might be authentic for right now is not going to be authentic in a month from now because of the transformation that you've had. So to come back and revisit it, like all my couples clients through the years, I have them do a rewrite of their agreements, basically their marriage contract, their vows, every year. Yeah. I'm like, every year you should be doing this. You know, you should really revisit that, because you've been married for 20 years. Are you the same people that you were 20 years ago today?
No.
Well, no. You know, we've been married 20 years, and this has happened, and that's happened, blah, 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 blah. And so they went from 20-year-olds to 40-year-olds. That's a lot of difference that happens in that 20 years. I mean, a lot. So why are we trying to hold ourselves to this old belief system, this old way of being? It's no longer our truth.
Yeah, I think we run into the biggest issues and when we purposely mislead somebody because we're scared. We're scared of, oh, will they still stay? Will they still buy into us? By us buying into our own worthiness, really, because it's like, even with like clients and stuff, like, well, if I tell them who I really am, if I show up how I really am, if I'm really authentic, will they still come? When in all actuality, you're going to draw the people, whatever kind of people that is, into your life, the things into your life when you are being most authentic to you, when you are standing your boundaries. You this morning did a whole conscious coffee on, being a yes, and then wrote an awesome article that you should go check out on her page if you haven't. But it's this, like, okay, like, if I don't say yes, if I give too much, are they still going to buy into me? Are they still going to want to be with me? Are they still going to love me? And I see this all the time with my clients, and I see this actually a lot with my sex and relationship clients. Big surprise, because it's all about relationship, but like, I'll see like couples where it's like, at the beginning of the marriage, the woman, or when they're dating, the woman goes, or the man goes like, I love sex. Like, it's, like, I love sex. And they sell themselves to this person with a higher sex drive as this, like, open and free-spirited, and then they buy the contract.
Or whatever happens, too. The flip happens, too. There's somebody going through, and I do have a specific person in my mind, I'm going to just admit it, but somebody's going through a life change, and they're trying to tame themselves down. They're trying to fit this stereotype that they think is what is good for them and what society wants and what will make them happy and fulfilled. And they've been, because they've been done stuff that maybe they're not completely happy with, or they're not comfortable in their own skin, not enough self-love or self-worth going on. So then they sell this box of, oh, I don't need that. Yeah, I don't need that. This is all I need in the intimacy department. This is what I'm wanting in the relationship and in this area and that area. And so they share a smaller version of themselves, and they get with somebody who buys that box because that's who they are too, and they're like, oh my God, you're perfect, right? And then you find yourselves a couple years down the road where the one who put themselves in the too small box at some point will go, it's really uncomfortable. It's really tight in here, and this is not, I need more. I need more depth, I need more frequency, I need more connection, I need more play, I need more whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Adventure typically is it. I want more desire, I want more adventure, play, that kind of stuff. And then the other partner's going, I don't get it. They were happy the entire time. Like, this is what, and now all of a sudden maybe they're going through a midlife crisis or something. And the other person's like, no, actually, this is just who I always, like, I used to be this way, and then I did this, and now I'm like, and I'm not happy. And then you have two parties, either direction. You have two parties that aren't happy.
Yeah.
Because one's selling the other, or sometimes both are selling each other wrong pictures.
Yeah.
And it just ends up all messy. All messy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is also about, like, figuring out what, I think, in relationship, figuring out what fine print you're okay with. Because just like you shared date number one, like, you may have, and I know that situation, you were not going to go back for a second because that's not what.
No, and there's more to the story. I mean, he definitely, like, after that comment, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened.
It unraveled from there. But my point being is, like, you have to realize, like, what fine print you're okay with, because you might get on board with somebody and they're like, okay, here's some fine print, and you're like, but I really want, like, your fine print is, like, compared to all you're bringing to the relationship. Just like, the fine print of, like, okay, the all-inclusive resort is not actually all-inclusive when you bought it. You have to buy. It's like, yeah, but it's a freaking amazing resort, and so it's worth, it outweighs things. It's the same in relationship of going, like, or business or whatever we're talking about, of going, like, no, this is going to outweigh this.
It comes down to, does the fine print, is the fine print on your non-negotiables list, the things that you absolutely cannot live with, that you're just like, no, I know I'm a no to that, no matter how much I try to get on board with it, I am a hardcore no to that. It goes against my core, because that's where the non-negotiable is, something that just goes against your core. And that's different for each and every one of us.
Yep.
So it's really important to know what your non-negotiables are, and then to look at that fine print as it comes up to you, wherever it comes up in any relationship, no matter what subject it is in your life, and go, does this go against my non-negotiables, my core here?
Yeah.
Because if it does, then you have to separate from that, because all you're going to do is cause suffering and sabotage your happiness and your bliss for all parties involved if you move forward in that, underneath those false
pretenses.
Yeah, pretenses.
I went on a date, like, it's probably like a month and a half ago now, and this man hit one of my non-negotiables. His thing was, like, he had no passion for growth in his life, and he actually, like, verbally, he was like, well, what's your 5-year, like, what do you see yourself in 5 years? And so he doesn't realize that I do mindset work every day, and so I'm really, I can, like, list these suffers. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have it, this is where my business is gonna be, this is where I'm gonna be traveling, this is what my family's gonna look like, not, like, super specific, but, like, this is my picture.
What your goals are.
This is my goals. These are my
goals.
These are my passions, And I gave the question back to him because he's the one who started it. And
you should take this free spirit talks and you should put it on your dating profile.
I should.
And you should say, before you date me, watch this. Because I think we talked like about so many different subjects.
I know.
It is about dating. I'm like,
I
almost want to start a dating profile just to put this out there just to see what the conversation is like.
But this man, he came back to me and he was like, well, in 5 years my life is gonna be no different. I really don't.
You told me that. I was like, how can you want your life to be the same?
I don't want it to, and that is a non-negotiable for me. You don't have to have the same goals as me, but I need to see passion. That's like if you have no passion,
you want something.
If you have no some expansion, growth, like massive goals, then I'm out. I'm out.
Not to mention anybody who, and I'm sorry, viewers who believe this way, but here's the reality. If you believe that you can have everything remain the same for any amount of time, you're blowing smoke up your own butt on it. Yeah. Because the one thing that you are guaranteed in life is change. It is constantly. Like, it's shoot. I mean, like, there is nothing that you can ever guarantee into that. I was just did a coaching call yesterday with somebody, and they were telling me that they had gotten into this argument with their spouse because they had asked their adult child to run an errand for them, but the adult child has some issue with anxiety and everything, and so when asking the child, a girl, to go and run this errand, which was basically, can you just drop something off for me? Okay, so it wasn't a massive errand. It was like, here's a piece of mail. Could you just drop this off sometime? And so the one partner who didn't ask the favor of the child just got, how can you ask that of her? Oh my God, you know that this is gonna, like, she rock her boat. She can't handle that. Blah 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 blah. And you know, my client of this couplehood is going, I didn't know that I was going to cause that much and blah, 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 and I don't want to upset the car. And I was going, all right, so somewhere along the path of life for your daughter has to get right with the life does not do this. Yep. It does not do this for any of us. No matter how it might appear on the outside of our lives, because some of us are really great at painting perfect pictures and never letting anything be seen. But nobody's life is like this.
None.
Not one person on the planet.
If you're like this, you're dead.
That's about the only way it's going to be like that, is if you're 6 feet under. Yeah. That's about it. That's it. And even then, the ground's going to shift. But it's true. I feel like even
you're always there to add just extra punch. This is why I keep you around.
It's true, though. Like, no matter what, your ground is going to shift.
Yes, it is.
And it is that you have to really get comfortable with, with the throwing around. You and I both are doing a training with our mentor, and the training from the other night, the one piece that actually really goes with this was, he was talking about the guy, her brother, that does all the back office stuff. He was saying, when we hire somebody, we spend a couple days just throwing something at them, and then by the end of the day we go, okay, do it all over again this way. All right, do it all over again this way. Go do it all over again this way, and throw them into, and they're going, but I just did this. Well, you're going to do it all over again, and we want this change, this change, put it over here, different color, like that, to see if they'll break underneath the shifting soil of a business, because that's the way it is. And if you break when something goes like that, it wasn't meant for you, or you're just not, you haven't worked your muscle of change. To build up that muscle of change, and yeah, I mean, in your case, like, that is. It was a non-negotiable for me. I have too much passion. I'm not going to be with somebody who doesn't want. See, you say that, and I'm like, so if he just wants this, if he just wants that, and he doesn't want change over the next 5 years, you want a family, and he goes, yeah, I want a family, but he buys you here. Well, you have a baby, you get some stretch marks, you pick up 10 pounds, you do this, you do that, like. Maybe you're. Heck, that's gonna happen without having a baby and family. Things happen, right? Like, welcome to a growing, aging body. Right, but the expectation is that there's no change. The expectation is that the connection's gonna remain exactly the same. No, the fine print says Addison will change, and expect that change. Body, mind, spirit, soul, all of it. Right. It will. You're gonna change. The fine print changes, and I think that the best part of anything like that in somebody's fine print and around the topic of change is that when you are in relationship with something or someone, is that you have to consistently, in order to make it long term, you have to consistently fall in love with the new aspect, that new version of because I mean, like in my business, my coaching practice has changed. I think I'm on my 5th life. I'm on my 5th rebirth in my coaching practice over the last 20 years. And I have to consistently, I no longer love this version. And a birth happened, and now I'm going through birthing processes, right? Like that. And then you get to this part and you fall in love with the new core piece of it.
And then it changes again.
And that happens in relationship too, where like if you get married, you're with somebody for a period of time. Friendships. Our friendship has changed.
Grow.
Thank God they don't always remain right here, right? They grow, they change, personalities change. You go through the different layers of that personality as it develops and learns the world. But you know what? We're all learning the world forever. As long as we're breathing, we're learning the world. And we're consistently changing.
Yes. So,
but that's definitely a fine print of I do not like change to the nth degree. Nothing must change in my life.
Yeah.
That's a person that I would just be like, yeah, that's going to be a great big fight somewhere probably very in the future because shit changes.
Yeah. And there was more than just that, but that actually was the breaking non-negotiable for me. It was. So if you want to date Addison, you better be okay with change. And I'm not taking applications on Facebook, FYI, for that. If you want to coach with me, I am taking applications. Actually, I do the Wine Me, Dine Me dating program, so technically I am accepting applications to date me, just not in a romantic fashion.
Be cautious. Because you see, I went to write a book.
I know. Anyway.
And it was just one and done. One date, 2 hours. Sorry, dear John, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
2 years later.
Yep.
Dear John's still here.
Yeah. So, anyway. The ginger kid is getting burnt.
And has to work.
And I have to go work with my new beautiful client that I'm super excited to work with, so I feel done.
Okay. She's done. I guess I'm done too. No. I have programs to write up.
Yes, you do. We both have programs to write up today.
Announcements?
Go.
You go first.
Okay. Well, I have my Cleanse to Self-Love program that is happening we start next Wednesday, so get on board, ladies. It's a ladies-only program. It is a low-cost program because I want to get a small group of women together and really, really up that self-love. Because the fact is, if you do not love yourself, then nothing else in your life is going to work for you. And even if things are coming into your life, you're not going to enjoy them if you cannot get good with you. So we're going to talk about body image. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about what you're eating. We're going to just cleanse the whole being for 3 days. It'll probably be 4 or 5 because I like to add extra stuff in, bonus content. So that is going on. Also, I have announced it, but the write-up is not out. So please PM me if you desire this program. It is the Core Desires program. We are going to talk about love. We're going to talk about creation energy. We're going to talk about your legacy that you are leaving and what we all love, good sexing. Because those are some of our core desires. And so we're going to really dive deep. This is a 4-week program. You get to work with me one-on-one if you so choose that portion of things. But it is 4 weeks. You're going to get 2 live streams every single week, plus some personal shares, content, all of that. Look out for the write-up that should be coming out. But if you want to get the launch price, then you can PM me. I can email you some more details for that. And we have female orgasm camp coming up in the DFW area. So if you were in the DFW area, then it's my favorite workshop of the entire year. I love this workshop because we share such meaningful, like, it doesn't matter that I get to be the model, but
I think it's my 9th year.
It's just fun. It's a fun workshop, and people learn so much. The conversation is always a little different. The energy is so beautiful.
Brings in something different. It is very,
It is amazing.
Very educational.
So that's happening August 10th. And then,
Yep. So there you go. All my stuff is not written up. I am in creation mode around so many different things.
Some amazing things.
Yeah. So and that was really cool because that was the first time I did not listen to your live yesterday. So I did not, like I told you, so I didn't know what her new release was. I was like, oh, Dawn, this is what it is. I'm like, I haven't listened to it. I don't know what it is. She just said core desires, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll have to go back and watch your live and learn about this so I can refer people over. But no, so my stuff is very tantric focused actually. Like I'm gonna just have to say it's gonna be a tantric into summer or a tantric fall for me, and leaning back on my foundation, my roots a little bit, and bringing to the table practitioner certification. So I've got a 3-level certification program that is coming out that we're going to start up in September. It's going to be open to 10 people. Level 1 will start in September. That write-up should be coming out by Monday, Tuesday. Everything should be launched on that. It will be 10 people, and that is it. And then if you want to go into level 2, you got to do level 1. It's just progression up. And then we are going to finish off the certification process at a beautiful, she's excited.
I'm sorry, I'm excited.
A retreat to one of my favorite destinations, to Costa Rica, off to the rainforest, back to a place that just, I just got tingles all over my body because I love Costa Rica so much.
I mean, Tantra, Costa Rica, what is there not to be excited about?
I have my eye on this yoga retreat center over there that is in the heart of the rainforest. So just picture the beautiful flowers and the monkeys and the birds and fresh organic local foods being cooked for you, and of course beach, and you know, we can go and hike the volcano and we can do all this kind of stuff, but it is also going to be a deep dive into the tantric practice and into being a tantric practitioner. So I'm going to be giving all the how-tos that I've learned over, I figured out, 28 years of education around Tantra. I was like, damn, am I that old? But all right.
Yes, you are.
There's going to be abuse on Free Spirit Talk. Bam. No. So yeah, so over to with 28 years of
deep diving for a while.
Yeah. So it is going to be like a very intensive retreat, but we're going to have that build up so that you can learn everything. Prior to that, I am going to be doing a Tantric Energetics workshop in September to just kind of kick everything off. That will be local, and it's going to be really kind of teaching some of the magic of Tantra, body work and the energetics of it. So I used to have a program called Core Energetics, and this is going to be Core Energetics at its finest. So it's going to be live demo, getting that, just that foundation around that stuff, because I get to be one of the co-facilitators for the, and you're going to be a co-facilitator as well. Both of us will be at the Austin Tantric Festival this year in December, and I will be teaching how to manifest through your orgasm, and also the Core Energetics Tantra down there will be the 2 workshops. So I've got all of this very tantric focused foundation stuff, of which the only thing that's written up is the festival, because that was not on my plate to do. Somebody else did that. That's their gig. I just show up and teach. So that's all written. Everything else will be coming out over the weekend and early next week. Yes. So, but that's all my big. That's my.
And she's going to give the fine print. She's going to give a fine print of Costa Rica.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
And
I am excited about Costa Rica. I mean, like, it's pretty cool. I mean, like, what? Mexico in August, Belize in October, Costa Rica in April is what that's I think my destination date is April for Costa Rica.
And Tantric Practitioner certification, which is amazing.
And I'm looking forward to working with, it's going to be 10 to 20 people by the end of this that will be getting certified for practitionership, so that you can build that into, you know, any holistic field can definitely benefit from understanding Tantra and the foundations if you're a holistic practitioner of any field. But then I know that there's a lot of talk around Tantra, and there's a lot of stigma on Tantra. There's a lot of Neo-Tantra stuff going on. And Neo-Tantra is beautiful, but it is only a piece of Tantra. It is like the actual sexual aspect of Tantra is only 5 to 6%. And we're going to be talking a lot about sexuality in the Tantra practitioner and coaching stuff, but it's you got to actually understand all the other stuff to make that piece work, and you sure the heck are not going to be able to do the quantum energetics aspect of it.
The true
so that
healing.
basically means touching somebody without touching somebody and getting orgasmic energy to run through them without ever laying a hand on them.
Getting the healing aspect of it.
And you can see that stuff move through their body. Like you can see, it's real deal. If you don't believe me, you can come.
Show up September 7th. You'll be doing some magic.
There'll be a whole but I always touch on it, just a hint in our orgasm.
Oh yeah, camp. Orgasm camp. She does magic on.
I do.
The model.
I do magic on the model. Yeah. So there you go.
So join us in any of that.
I need more water.
So I need more water too. So we're gonna say goodbye, and you can see us again because we know we're amazing, and you want to come back and watch in 2 weeks. They come for me.
Oh my goodness.
No, in 2 weeks we will be back with another Free Spirit Talks. We're going to be going back to Mondays for the month of August. So, yes.
We'll be there.
So join us in 2 weeks on a Monday. Yep. So we'll see you then. Bye everybody.
Bye.